thing I always tell people, and I try to teach people, is that they need to write things down. I
Mm.
said, writing things down is going to help you out. So if you figure out 2 to 3 things that you feel might be an interest to you that you might want to work in, write those 3 things down. And then I say you'll write 4 to 5 tasks of why and what you need to do to accomplish that. For me, when I started in law enforcement, there was nothing I even thought about. Like I said, I was always into martial arts. I was into chasing females. I was into partying, having fun. It never came up. I just happened to get into it and I kind of fell in love with it. And then, like I say, talking to my sheriff, who was my old mentor, I say, in my first job, he made me resign because I was just doing too much craziness. But he told me, he said, "Hey man, if you grow up and mature, you can actually do a lot of good in this." And I tell people, I say, I'm going to have the heads up because you have so much on the internet which you can look at to figure out exactly what you want to do. But you got to have a plan. I didn't have a plan, and I winged it. Just by the grace of God, I was able to come back on top of it because I had times where I didn't think, like, "Hey man, don't think I'm gonna make it out of this." But it comes up. But people need to write things down. And that's why I tell people, even daily, like I have a journal now where I write down my whole day. If I have a goal, I write it down. I give me 3 to 4 tasks to help me accomplish that goal. Tell people write things down is always going to help you out. So if you get out of college, when I get out of college, get out of high school, you need to decide whether I want to go to the military, do I want to go to college, do I want to pick out a trade? Those are your 3 things. Do you figure out from there, you can break it down to what you want to go to. Because everyone doesn't go to college. I've learned that. Everybody doesn't want to go to the military. Everybody doesn't want to pick up a trade. You got to figure out what's good for you and then start working there.
Mm.
But as a young man, you got to focus because we get so hyped up. We're like, okay, I don't know if you remember this, and I'm telling myself a little bit. I remember when I was younger, on college, well, even before I went to college, which was me being young, they used to have these videos called Girls Gone Wild. So I thought college was going to be like that. I,
Remember Girl Gone Wild?
yeah.
That man, you
So,
look at it and be like, "Oh, is that what?" Yeah, no, let's go do that. That looks so
yeah, yeah.
fun.
This is going to be a grand time for me. I say, this is what I was going to expect. This was nothing like that. Even a little bit. I say it was nothing like that. But like I say, you start looking at these things, and that's why I tell people, I say this social media, TV is good for you, but it's always gonna be bad because it can give you a false impression of what life could be like.
Hmm.
So those are things like that you gotta make sure you be cautious of. But like I tell people, you go to college, do what you want to do, make sure you stay focused. And so if you want to find your trade, I say I know people that are plumbers, I know people that are electricians and welders. You just got to find out what interests you. And once you do that, you have to make a serious plan on how to accomplish that. It might be a 6 month plan, might be a year plan, might even be a 5 year plan, but you got to accomplish that. And like I try to tell people, things won't happen overnight. I
Oh.
said we all fail, and we're gonna have to keep trying. Like I've been there before. I said, I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do that. It didn't work out that way. Like even for me in law enforcement, like I wanted to be an instructor. It took me 3 times to get that class under my belt. 3 times I had to study for that class. I was under the perception that it's a law enforcement class just to teach law enforcement officers how to learn, like how to teach them different material. It wasn't anything like that. It was about classroom dynamics, study system, KSAP, and different things like that. So it was pretty difficult. So writing things down is one thing I always tell people to do, and make sure that you stay focused on that list because if you just write stuff down, you just let it be. Start checking things off